The lighthouse keeper's final night. That night, the lighthouse stood alone against the darkness. Samuel Hardwick climbed the spiral stairs one last time, his boots echoing against iron steps worn smooth by 40 years of nightly ascents. Tonight would be his final shift, his last watch over the restless waters of the northern coast. Tomorrow, a younger man would take his place, would light the beacon, would keep the ship safe from the jagged rocks below. But tonight belonged to him alone. The keeper's vigil. The lamp room waited at the top, its great glass lens catching the last rays of sunset and throwing them across the water in fractured patterns of gold and crimson. Samuel had polished that lens every day for 4 decades. He knew every scratch, every imperfection in the ancient glass. The lighthouse had been built in 1847, and he had been its keeper since 1945, since the war ended and he needed somewhere quiet to forget what he had seen. He lit the lamp with practiced hands, watching the oil catch flame, seeing the light begin its eternal rotation. One flash every 15 seconds. Ships knew this rhythm. They counted on it. In fog and storm, in the darkest hours before dawn, that steady pulse had guided countless vessels home. Samuel settled into his chair by the window. The ocean stretched before him, vast and unknowable, its surface catching the dying light. He could hear the waves far below, their endless rhythm against the rocks. That sound had been his companion for so many years. He would miss it. But something felt different tonight. The visitor. The knock came just after midnight. Samuel's eyes opened. He hadn't realized he'd dozed off. The lamp continued its rotation. Flash, darkness, painting the room in intervals of light and shadow. Below, someone was knocking on the lighthouse door. Impossible. The lighthouse stood on a rocky island accessible only by boat, and no one came here after dark. The waters were too dangerous, the rocks too treacherous. Yet the knocking continued, steady and insistent. Samuel descended the stairs slowly, his heart beating faster than it had in years. Through the small window in the door, he saw a figure, a woman in a long dark coat, her face obscured by shadow. Rain had begun to fall, though Samuel hadn't noticed any storm approaching. He opened the door. The woman looked up at him with eyes that seemed to catch the lighthouse beam, reflecting it back like a cat's eyes in darkness. She was soaked through, shivering, though the night was warm. "Please," she said, her voice barely audible over the wind that had suddenly risen. "I need shelter. My boat, there was an accident." Samuel stepped aside without thinking, letting her enter. Only after the door closed did he realize he hadn't seen any boat, hadn't heard any engine or splash of oars. The woman stood in the small keeper's quarters, water dripping from her coat onto the stone floor, and Samuel felt a chill that had nothing to do with the temperature. "I'll make tea," he said, "because that's what you did for unexpected guests, even impossible ones." The story unfolds. The woman sat by the small stove while Samuel heated water. She had removed her coat, revealing a dress that looked decades out of fashion, something from the 1940s, perhaps earlier. Her dark hair was pinned back in an old style, and around her neck she wore a locket that caught the lamplight. "You're the keeper," she said, not a question. "For 40 years," Samuel replied, "though this is my last night." She looked at him with those strange, reflecting eyes. "Then perhaps you're the one who can finally help me." Samuel handed her the tea. She wrapped her hands around the cup, but didn't drink. "Help you how?" "I've been trying to reach this lighthouse for a very long time," she said. "Every keeper who came before you, I tried. But they never saw me, never heard my knock. You're the first." The chill deepened. Samuel sat down slowly. "Who are you?" "My name was Catherine Wells," she said. "I died here in 1943. The truth revealed. Samuel should have been afraid, but he wasn't. Perhaps 40 years of solitude had prepared him for impossible things. Perhaps the war had taught him that death wasn't always the end of a story. He listened as Catherine told him about the night she died. She had been engaged to the lighthouse keeper then. a young man named Thomas Reed. The war was on, and everyone was afraid of German submarines in the coastal waters. One night, Catherine had rowed out to the island to bring Thomas supplies, to spend an evening with him before he shipped out to join the Navy, but she never made it back to shore. A storm rose suddenly, capsizing her small boat. Thomas saw it happen from the lamp room. He watched her disappear beneath the waves, powerless to help. The guilt destroyed him. He left the Lighthouse service, left the coast entirely, and was killed in action 6 months later. I tried to reach the lighthouse, Catherine said, her voice soft as the wind outside, to tell him it wasn't his fault, that I didn't blame him, but I never could. And then he was gone, and I was still here, still trying. Samuel understood now why she had appeared on his final night. You've been waiting all this time for someone who could see me, someone who understood about war, about loss, about the weight of things you can't change. She looked at the locket around her neck. Thomas gave me this. I was wearing it when I drowned. I need someone to return it to his family, to tell them he didn't fail, to let them know we're both at peace now. The final service. Samuel took the locket with gentle hands. It was real, solid, though the woman who gave it to him was fading now, becoming translucent in the rotating lighthouse beam. Through her, he could see the stone wall, the small stove, the lamp burning steady above. I'll find them, Samuel promised. I'll tell them. Catherine smiled, and for the first time since she'd arrived, she looked young and happy. Thank you. Finally, I can rest. And you can leave this place knowing you completed one last rescue. The lighthouse beam swept through the room. When light returned, Samuel was alone. Outside, the storm had passed. The ocean lay calm and dark, reflecting stars. Samuel climbed back to the lamp room and watched the dawn come slowly, painting the water in shades of pearl and rose. In his pocket, the locket felt warm, real, proof that the night hadn't been a dream. Dawn. When the relief keeper arrived the next morning, Samuel was ready. He had cleaned the lamp room one last time, polished the lens until it shone like a diamond. He descended the spiral stairs with the locket safe in his coat pocket, carrying with him the story he would tell. The lighthouse would keep its vigil without him now. But Samuel had one final task: to find Thomas Reed's family, to deliver Catherine's message, to complete the rescue that had waited 80 years. As the boat pulled away from the rocky island, Samuel looked back at the lighthouse standing tall against the morning sky. And for just a moment, in the lamp room window, he thought he saw two figures standing together, finally at peace, watching him go. The light continued its eternal rotation, one flash every 15 seconds, steady, reliable, guiding the lost ones home.